What's up guys, ArchAngel Manga here, and today's series review is going to be a manga that I read a few months ago, and that is Saturn Apartments by Hisae Iwaoka. That's a name that's quite difficult to pronounce, Hisae Iwaoka. I think I just saw that upside down. That's the right way up, even though it's upside down. Before I actually get into this review, I just want to point out that this is a manga from Viz's Sig Iki line. Basically, this is a manga that was published in Monthly Iki magazine, and Monthly Iki magazine is a manga that was established in the early 2000s, and basically it publishes manga that basically pushes the boundaries of the norm. Not to the extent that say Garo or Axe would, but it still is quite avant-garde in its storytelling approach and its art style and things like that. Like you can, Doro Hidoro, I'll Give It My All Tomorrow, House of Five Leaves, so a few Taiyo Matsumoto works have been published in Monthly Iki, so you can kind of grasp what kind of manga manga anthology magazine it is if you've read any of those titles. This being one of them, so as you can probably imagine, I was highly anticipating reading Saturn Apartments. So what did I think of it? I thought Saturn Apartments was good. I enjoyed it for the most part. It's a 7-volume long series centering around this young boy here. I'll actually tell you the other way around so you can actually get a good view of him. There we go. His name is Mitsu. Mitsu lives on a colony, a ringed colony that surrounds Earth. After Earth has become uninhabitable for unknown reasons, really. We don't know whether or not it's climate change, some disaster happened, overpopulation, war. We don't really know, but we know that the entire human population, or like 99% of the human population at least, is living on these on this massive circular ring that circumnavigates the entire globe. And this ring is divided its citizens into classes. You've got the lower levels where all the poor people live, the middle levels where basically like shopping, like the middle class, where everybody goes to school, and then the higher levels, which is basically like nobody's allowed to go up to the higher levels unless you're very rich, very important. You basically, it's a VIP status territory. So you have all the poor people living on the lower level. Middle level is basically where everybody kind of goes to do the shopping, go to school, get their education, things like that, and then the VIP level where nobody's allowed to go. So three levels that are based on it's based on a class system, and we do get to see examples of segregation and things like that. That's something that is quite focused on in this series, but not heavily so, as this is a slice of life series, a slice of life sci-fi, I guess you could say. With more heavy focus on characters and the slice of life genre. As this series isn't so heavy on drama, it doesn't really progress much. It stays quite somber throughout the entire series. And ultimately, how I ended up feeling about this series is, it's good. I knew I was reading a good series, but even though I was reading a good series, I still felt quite bored. And I felt it was quite boring, and I'll explain myself. Basically, Mitsu and all the other characters, they're good in their own respect, but they don't progress much. There's not really much character development, and the story doesn't really progress that much either. Just to give you a background, Mitsu is an orphan from the lower levels. He's very poor, lives by himself. And Mitsu aspires to be a window washer. Window washers basically are responsible for the maintenance of the outside of the ring system, keeping clean the windows, doing kind of maintenance checks, doing repairs, things like that for like asteroids, like tiny little asteroids or meteorites, whatever that hit the surface of the ring. But primarily they just clean the windows, mostly for those who can actually afford it. So more often than not, they clean the windows for the upper level residents. And Mitsu's father, his deceased father, was a window washer, and Mitsu's father was in an accident before the beginning of the story, where his safety rope, was cut, and he fell to his death. He fell from the ring system all the way to Earth, kilometers below is where the surface is. So he fell to his death. And basically, Mitsu is basically, by the time we meet him in the story, he's recovered from this. He's adjusted, he's responsible, he's sensible, and it's time for him to get a job. So he starts working with all the people who his father used to work with, the same window washers guild. It's a guild. So all the people that he's working with are former colleagues of his father. And Mitsu didn't really know his father as he was too young when his father died. So basically this story is him basically getting to know his father through the eyes and the memories and the recollections of the people who used to work with him. And I thought that was a really nice touching way for a character that we never meet to get development and backstory for him. It's not told through flashbacks, it's told mainly through conversation and things like that Mitsu has, and the interactions he has with the people who knew him best. And I thought that was really nice, and that did develop the characters in a certain respect, because most people, if not all people in the guild that his father used to work in, had held his father in such high regard. And because of this, Mitsu is expected to achieve, and everybody treats him quite harshly, because he is his father's son, and his father was one of the best window washers there was, and very well respected person. So everybody has such high expectations of Mitsu. And basically Mitsu goes into the job being pretty terrible. He gets scolded a lot by his father's former mentor and now his mentor. But deep down, everybody does care about him. Everybody knows that he is alone. And even though there are some people in the series that do treat him harshly, deep down they do care about him, and there is a real societal bond between characters that surround Mitsu. Like we have his neighbours, the Kamiyamas, I think they're called. And they really do look out for him, but because Mitsu's so independent, he's not needy. He's very self-sufficient, and he's very able to cope by himself. He doesn't really tend to need much people's help, even though the people try to kind of push themselves and push their help on him. And it is an emotional series, but the pacing does suffer quite a lot. I felt that the story really could have been told in maybe about 3 or 4 volumes, and not the 7 that it is told in, as most of the stories that are contained with this are quite episodic, where basically we see Mitsu taking on contracts from upper level residents to wash his windows, and basically he kind of mingling and getting to know the residents of the people whose windows he's washing. And we get to basically see other different secondary characters who hire the window washers, and their lives and why they want windows washing. And there's a real sense of loneliness in this series, and the windows basically serve as a visual representation of people's longing to go back to the earth, as the earth is clearly there, people can see it, and the windows are so massive that it's just staring people in the face all the time. And that is actually Mitsu's ultimate wish, to go down to the surface and just see what's there, as he actually wants to find his father. I mean, deep down inside he knows his father's dead, but he still wants to go down to the surface to explore and see what's there. So from the beginning of the story, that's kind of set in motion, that idea that Mitsu wants to go down to the surface eventually, and he discusses it with his colleagues and things like that, and people who are closest with him. And it's a very conversational manga. There's heavy conversation in this series, people interacting and things like that. There are secondary plots and things like that concerning other people, other characters wanting to go down to the surface, as the government that is in the series, the government who governs and rules over this ring system, basically prohibited people from going to the surface and any information about the surface. So nobody really knows anything about the surface, which is why the reader doesn't know anything about the surface, and we never unfortunately get to find out why they're in this ring system. It's not a series that's focused on drama. So that's kind of basically the gist of the story. A good story, but executed very somberly, which can kind of I can imagine it would turn some people off. So you really do need to be kind of in the right frame of mind to be able to appreciate this sort of story. In regards to its artwork, the artwork really does reflect the somber nature of the story, as the line work, the backgrounds are very soft. Everywhere's very soft lit. There's not really many dark sort of areas other than the lower levels, which the windows never get cleaned, so they get very little sunlight. So it's always pretty much nighttime there, so to speak. Also, the art style itself is very unique. The characters all have this thing where they've all got really big heads, but very small facial features. Like they have very small eyes, very small noses, very small mouths, but the heads are really, really big, which definitely makes Iwaoka's art style stand out from anything else that I've read. And I did like the art style. In terms of colours and things like that, as you can see in the volumes, like she opts out for using very pastel-y colours, no like strong reds, strong blues or anything like that, which again really hints at the really somber nature of the series. And yeah, the series doesn't really peak. It kind of just stays average throughout the whole thing. So, you know, I kind of gave this an average rating. But still, it is something I would recommend, and I will keep a lookout for any other Sigiki imprint volumes. Like I know I'm already collecting Dorohedoro, but I don't really think I have anything else from the Sigiki line other than Kingyo-Yu's books. I think Oku, is that Sigiki? I'm not too sure. I don't think that's Iki. But yeah, a magazine that focuses on the avant-garde. I mean, it must be pretty good if Viz have decided to make an entire imprint dedicated to it. So yeah, this is something, it is an imprint I'm really going to be keeping my eye out for. So despite my opinions, if you feel that Saturn Apartments is something that you sink your teeth into, and enjoy, then by all means, you know, give it a read. It's only 7 volumes long. It's not that much of a commitment, and it's still in print. So if you do want to purchase it, and you want to support me also by doing that, click on my Book Depository affiliate link, which is in the description box below. Book Depository is a great site. I use it myself. Get free worldwide shipping. Great, you know, greatly priced manga, and I get commission off of every sale made. So that's always a plus. So yeah, if you enjoyed that review, drop me your thoughts in the comment section below. If you've read the series as well already, drop me those thoughts in the comment section, and I will see you later.